All right, welcome back to another episode of the Badass Lifter podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about if you should work out during the holidays. I've had a lot of people ask me, like, hey, I was thinking of taking the holidays off. It's pretty busy. I have family coming down. Like, am I going to lose any strength? Should I still try and get workouts in, even though I'm busier than usual? Let's kind of talk about this because I think depending on who you are, there could be slightly different answers to this. I think the first thing that we need to discuss is if you take a break, are you going to lose strength? So let's discuss that and go from there. And the short answer is no. The short answer is like no, almost for sure. Losing strength just takes longer than a week or two off. That's like the truth is that, like, especially if you've been lifting for a while, it's just very unlikely that you're going to lose any strength. Now, the first workout or two back might feel a little bit awkward, but you're going to have the same strength level you had before within like a week of getting back into training. Losing strength just takes time. Like it would take months of not training to really notice that like your strength went down. So taking a week off for the holidays, this is just not going to be the case. So if you think you're going to lose strength over the holidays, that's not true. Now, I want to talk about three different people that may or may not want to take off training for the holidays. We're going to start with the totally new lifter. Now, this new lifter is going to be, let's say, 0 to 6 months of training. Okay, so they're very new to lifting. I think this person may or may not benefit from taking a break or taking a week off for the holidays. Let me kind of explain why. So, they're not going to lose any strength. They're going to be just as strong as they were before. The challenge here is that for new lifters, they haven't really developed the habit of strength training in their life yet. Like it's still a very new thing. And what I've noticed is that for new lifters, you can fall off a lot easier in training, where for some people, taking a week off might kind of force them to lose that momentum they had with training. And I have seen it where like someone does a really good job for 2, 3 months. They take a week off, they feel bad for taking the week off, or they kind of lose that momentum they had before and they start missing more weeks of training, or they just stop training altogether, or it takes months to get back into the regular cycle of training. So this kind of depends on who you are, but I think for new lifters, like you're less than 6 months of training, trying to get at least one workout in could be beneficial. I don't think you need to get all your workouts in. I don't think you need to go as heavy. I don't think you necessarily need to use the same machines or necessarily go to the gym. This could be like a home workout. But I think getting one workout in on the week that you're taking off, again, in 20, 30 minutes, just to not lose that momentum. Because for new lifters, it is that much easier to stop training altogether because you haven't developed the habit of training. It's not like necessarily part of your life yet. So I think for new lifters, trying to get just one workout in can be really, really valuable. Um, just to not lose that momentum. So that's kind of my general advice for new lifters. This isn't true for everyone, but I've seen it enough times with enough lifters that I think, yeah, just getting one in just to not lose that consistency while you're still making it a habit is a good idea. Now, let's talk about someone, let's call them a beginner lifter. So, 6 months to 2 years of training, okay? So they're still in kind of that beginner phase, but it's more of a habit now. It's more of something they do regularly. Should they take the week off? My answer for this is that I don't think there's a wrong choice here. I think if you want to work out during the holidays, I think that's totally fine. You can keep going. But if you don't, you're not going to lose any strength, and you've kind of shown that it's a habit now. So I'm less worried about you being less consistent when you come back into training. I don't think there's a wrong choice. And I think if you decide to take some time off, I think there could be a valuable lesson there because you can learn that you can learn that you can take breaks. I think that is really important here because when you're getting into training and you're super consistent and you haven't taken any time off yet, you might think, well, can I never take a break? Or maybe you feel bad for taking breaks. This can be kind of an opportunity to be like, okay, you know what? I took a week off from training, nothing happened. So that's super valuable because the truth is that like even the most hardcore lifters, no matter how committed you are to the process, no matter how much you want it to be part of your life, there's just going to be times where you can't train, and that's okay. So learning that you can take breaks, I think this can be a valuable opportunity for those beginner lifters that like it's okay to take a break. You're not going to lose any strength, and that makes it that much easier to come back into training. Last group I want to talk about is, let's call them like the experienced lifter. So this is going to be someone who has 2+ years of training. This person, not only can they take a break, they probably should. And I'm going to kind of explain why. Because experienced lifters don't, like, they tend to work harder than beginner lifters. Like, their intensity is higher. So the fatigue they accumulate over time tends to be higher, and they take less rest. So what this kind of means is that, like, if you take a week off, not only is it okay because your body needs to rest, you might come back stronger. There's people I've worked with who like they refuse to take breaks. They've been training for 3 or 4 years. They take that week off and they actually find that they're more refreshed than they were before. They're finding their lifts are actually getting a little bit better because if you've been training really hard consistently, you're just building up this fatigue over time. Yes, that gets better with rest days in between workouts, but you're not necessarily 100% recovered. So this can kind of be a moment where like, you know what, if I take a week or two off, my body's fully rested now, I'm ready to go, I'm fresher, and I finally had that recovery that my body is looking for, and that you might actually come back stronger. So I think for the experienced lifter, not only can they take a break for the holidays, they probably should. So, and if you're not really sure where you are in this category, like I would use the years, but also I don't think whatever you choose, it's fine. That's like kind of, yeah, that's like the message I want to get here is that like no 1 week of training makes or breaks anyone's goals. I think sometimes people feel like there's a lot of pressure on whether they can work out during the holidays or not, or there's a lot of guilt if they miss a week of training. 3 to 6 months from now, you're going to be just as strong as you were before. So there's not a lot riding on this decision, even if it feels like that. So, for me, I have family coming in next week, lots of Christmas celebrations coming up for the next week. I almost for sure won't get any workouts in, but that's fine. Like it doesn't matter. You're allowed to take breaks, and I'm going to be just as strong as I was before. No need to make up workouts either. I think sometimes people will feel like, well, should I do extra workouts when I get back into training? Nope, absolutely not. You just get back into regular training. You don't need to make up for anything because there's nothing to be made up for. Like breaks are part of the process. No one trains year round. Even the most experienced lifters will have weeks they take off or weeks they don't work out as much. This is totally fine. I really think the only person I'm concerned about for taking this break is the new lifter who maybe is a bit of a perfectionist, and if they miss a workout, they feel like they failed and they just give up entirely. This is not everyone, but this kind of person does exist. And so I think for that person, getting in like one workout at home, 20, 30 minutes can help not to make that person feel better about it and like not feel guilty about it. I still think they can take time off if they want. I've just noticed that this is like more of a mindset thing. And while you're building up the habit, could be beneficial to just get a quick workout in at some point during the week. But this is a very specific kind of person. So I hope this makes you feel better. I hope in case you were wondering if you can work out during the holidays. You can if you want to. If you don't, it's fine. It's not as there's you're gonna be fine either way. I think that's like the message that I'm trying to get here. Let me know your thoughts on this episode and like what other topics you would like to hear about in the future. But yeah, thanks for listening to another episode of the Badass Lifter podcast.